All right. Oh no, I sat on like the creaky part of the floor. Do you ever have like that creaky part of the floor that just like you know you hate when you step in there? I have this like weird thing in my mind that like I feel happens when I step on that weird place on the floor. Anyways, this is not the weird place of the floor. This is um probably gonna be my first episode of, I don't know if it's a series. I don't know what it is yet. We just started it. We don't have to know what this is, right? of the Both Sides of the Coin podcast. It's my podcast. I guess I can. Oh, I'm already cringing at my own stuff, but it's okay. I think you always have to like kind of cringe at your stuff a little bit, right? I had to refilm this entire thing. I did like 40 minutes of it because I realized the light, and I don't even know if the light's positioned right now, or if you have advice, I'm actually open to it of how to make this better. Even like right now, I'm recording this. I'm a musician, so I have this set up to record, but filming is a new endeavor, and I have to admit, I definitely I gardened a little bit before this, and I'm starting to realize that the stuff that I have to be careful what I say, that the stuff I got from someplace else was not vibing with me, and this one is. So yeah, um, the internet. I've been on the internet for some time now, like for some years, and it's like I can't necessarily like, I've been just starting to post more of like my music because I'm a musician, so I have to promote myself with my music and such. And it's also, I have to look at it like as a privilege as well. We live in like a very cool time. I have to be careful how many times I say like, but I also wonder if I get a pass because I grew up in LA, so I'm a Valley girl. But um, I'm a musician. It's weird to talk about yourself like this, you know. I have to talk about myself now. And I think I try to avoid that a lot. So this is a way for me to be more like vulnerable, I guess. I don't really like the word vulnerable, but I like, I like to be more sensitive. No, I already am sensitive towards this. Um, this is kind of crazy because it's like now I'm not thinking about like cutting this up, you know. But this will be good for me because even like, what was it? Not even that many months ago, was posting like shorter form content, just to get my feet wet on that, and I was like, wow, I'm actually kind of enjoying this, like, because I'll do these weird things where I'll just talk to myself, or like I'll be deep in thought, or I talk to myself before I go to the gym in my car, and I called it like a little series, 26-year-old questions reality while in the car before the gym, something like that. I called it a little series, and then I kind of just like stopped. Consistency is another thing I'm trying to work on, you know, especially with art and stuff. It's hard to be consistent. Well, it's not really hard to be consistent. I have this idea that it's hard to be consistent. It actually kind of isn't. Like, for the most part, I've been journaling every single morning now. I didn't journal this morning, so I guess I didn't. My streak is over. Um, but yeah, so this is gonna be called the both sides of the coin because for the most part, I think of myself pretty like I can be kind of objective for the most part. I'm a Gemini rising, so I think playing on both sides. If people are like, "Oh, Gemini's two-faced," but it like really, that just means how you're perceiving it. At the end of the day, it's more about duality. A little bit into astrology. I'm not. I like try not to get wrapped up in ideas anymore because I think we all have that notion of getting caught up in everything, every idea of yourself, who you think you are. Like, you're not really who you think you are. You just think you are who you think you are. Uh, like, even the most freeing thing the last few years has been like trying to like love music again and have it not be about me or mean anything about me. And I have a feeling that has kind of changed my relationship to other things. I don't really like to have relationships to things that aren't human because I think humans have their relationships, if that makes sense. So yeah, so I think it's changed my relationships which is good. This is good. This is a good thing. So yeah, this is this is gonna be very different. Whatever this is gonna be, and like I don't know. I just wanted to throw some paint at the wall. Because we live in a time where you can do that. You might think that you can't, but you can always make a video and throw it somewhere, and even if it gets taken down. I've had stuff taken down, and I'll post more of other things again. Um, yeah, yep. I didn't even really come in with anything to talk about, which is kind of crazy because like I would consider myself like I was a pretty good student, like coming prepared. But then I'm starting to realize with life, there's nothing really to prepare for. You just gotta like, yeah, just Nike, just do it. I love a cliche that's true. But so yeah, I make music, um, and then I work a job to support that while that comes into fruition, whatever that is. And it's like I think I'm always gonna try to go down like an independent route for the most part. We'll see what happens, but we live in a time that like we're already having to do majority of the footwork anyways as an artist. And I can say that as like an artist because I am an artist, and you're an artist in your own life, if that makes sense. But uh, anybody who's trying to share their art, I think it's kind of dumb to not post it on social media, whatever capacity that is. You don't have to do whatever the hell this is. This is a little different for me as well, but like the world, your art needs the world, and the world needs your art. Like it's necessary. I've always wondered like, does art influence culture, or does the culture influence the art? And it's something I think about a lot because it's like going to art school and stuff. I've had to like study from like different perspectives, whether it be like art appreciation, music appreciation. I have like a I have an associate's degree, which is pretty crazy to think sometimes. It's a double emphasis associate's degree. Um, Behind my like bachelor's degree in songwriting, which is kind of crazy to say. So it's like I think I've lived an interesting life up to this point of having different perspectives and such. And like you really don't need to go to music school. It's just a path that I've kind of fell upon, and it's like my path entirely. I can't tell you, but anything I've gone to up to now has been invaluable because obviously, I mean, I got to here, and all there is here and now, right? So, uh, I don't regret anything really. I think regret's kind of stupid. Like, what are you gonna do? Do something about it? You can't really do anything about it. Regret could be a good catalyst, but like, it's not like, what are you gonna do with it? You're other than feel something. I'm not saying that feeling is a bad thing. It's the same thing as like being guilty. Like, guilt is not helping you, and it's not helping the other person. And same thing with regret. Resentment's a different thing. Resentment is something that I'm just like going over feelings right now, like a color wheel, which is funny because like I don't know. I don't really think about my feelings that much. I definitely make art for the feelings. I think that's why I make art. It's like for my feelings. It's for the girls, for the feelings. It's for the girls. I'm gonna try to be as objective as possible, whatever that means. But I can only really speak from my own experience, and I'm starting to realize that that's all my job is really to do is speak from my experience anytime, anywhere. I'm not gonna ever get to a point of saying like this is what you're supposed to do with music, because my path on music is like, and my path in general is my path. It's not something that I want somebody to replicate. It's not something that I can replicate somebody else's path. Like that just I I think it's really, that's why it's like it's really not helpful to compare yourself. There are things that you can learn from people, like going, hey, on this path I did see a snake, but you don't need to walk their path. You could just know, wow, I could get to a snake in my path or whatever. That's not a bad thing, but it's just like, things to be aware of on your path. Does that make sense? I don't think any of this is making sense. But uh, it's paths. Paths are weird. It's even like path of well, we're gonna get kind of religious, but like you have path of some like Christ or some like Messiah of some sort, like having to follow a righteous path or something like that, like, or just a path. But like any way is somebody else's path, if that makes sense. Like whether it be Christ or like the Buddha or like there's not much. I mean, I grew up Jewish, but like I don't even know that much. That's gonna be an interesting thing too. Is just my background is very like, I think that's why I can also kind of like relate to a lot of people. Like I'm at a point in my life where I feel like I can sit down and talk to anybody, even in like a different language or just a different culture, different whatever, different. There's nobody you can sit in front of me that I can't talk to at this point. And I think part of it has to do with being in the service industry, which has definitely helped me deal with difficult situations and like challenging, unnecessarily challenging things in the environment. But had to deal with all kinds of different people, had to deal with versions of who I thought I was, if that makes sense. Uh, so yeah, this is gonna be a little choppy because looking down at my little timer, I forgot what time I sent it at, but I think it's only been like 10 minutes. I really don't know. This might be a shorter one just because I'm trying to kind of like intro it. I actually have no clue what I talked about up to this far, but uh, this is going to be more free flow of consciousness. So, yeah. I also do little microdoses on the weekends. And this is one of the weekends. I'm already thinking like Sunday scaries is a weird thing, but I'm like feeling that feeling of being like, oh, I gotta do my job tomorrow. But yeah, 27, musician. I grew up in LA, currently live in Nashville. I've been in Nashville for years. Moved out here during the pandemic in like 2020. It's like when I signed the lease to my first apartment, my dad was like, being like, "You, this is gonna be such a like, this is such a bad idea, blah blah blah." Yet, and flash forward, I've been here for 5 years, you know. So, oh, I don't think I've ever let him down for that one, but yeah. So I've been in here in Nashville, and I don't know where I'm gonna be next, honestly. And I keep saying that, but like genuinely, like I'm kind of more open to like, there's just so much world to see, and like maybe I can end up somewhere else. Like I don't know. And I also just want to be more fluid with things too. I can't really. This is like, I don't know what happened, but when I turned 27, and like I only turned 27 like a week ago. Sorry, a week ago, and something like happened where I'm kind of just like, I don't know if I really have the capacity to give a. Am I allowed to say fuck? I gave a fuck about. I don't know if I'm like, ever since I've turned 27, I don't know if I've had the capacity to care about what other people think about me, because I don't even want to care about what I think about me. Have you thought about and realized that you're like the most judgmental person you are is yourself for the most part? And if there's other people who are more judgmental than you, one, you either have really good self-talk, or two, you are around some terrible people. It's even worse because sometimes it's your friends. That's a hard pill to swallow. How do we always say it's a hard pill to swallow? Hard pill to swallow. I can think of a hard pill to swallow, but I can't remember what it was. It's this, but uh, um, I make music. I think in over like the last like few years and stuff, having to pause and stuff, and like we all did in some sort of way, whether we wanted to or not. I started asking myself, like, am I doing it for the reasons that I believe are right for me, or am I doing it because I'm trying to be like everybody else in some sort of way? I know there's a small segment of people who are like musicians, but I was somewhat oversaturated in a way. But I think we're in like a renaissance of some sort right now. It wasn't always going to be like look pretty or like be like, and when we look back, it's just going to be a highlight reel, because everything that we look back on is just, it's a highlight reel. Every like relationship or moment of time, and like there's times that like nostalgia is just like just a highlight reel. Like I could think about like even like a couple years ago and being like, wow, and like romanticize those times, but realizing that I might have totally been miserable some of the time, you know, because my emotions are just so in flux. But, you know, we're constantly, like, the human brain is constantly, like, just seeking out the bad and trying to stick with it. And if you think about it, you have to think about it, but thinking is the vehicle. Your brain is the vehicle. We have to look for the negative because our brain is a tool for survival, you know. So it makes sense that we're looking for threats. But notice that there are no saber-toothed tigers around in my room. But so there's no need to look for a threat. And I am my biggest threat, right? Because I'm the one who's getting in my way, if that makes sense. So, um, I hope you learned nothing from this. There's nothing here that I can tell you. There's nothing that I believe that anybody has to tell me. I think we all just have the opportunity to share our experiences with one another. One another. My tongue is dry. Sunday night. Anyways, I'm a musician. I also, in college, I like dabble around with like, yeah, I think I already said I microdose this morning. Yeah. And I implement that in my life as like a sense to like reset and get out of patterns of my thinking. And it's definitely working. Definitely working. But I've been like fully functional this day. I also said that I gardened a little bit, so that might be what's adding to this. And it's getting a little late for me. Um, yeah, so I kind of let things from the earth, like I like be my teachers in some sort of sense, or like allow me some sort of them to like influence me a little bit to be more open. But with that said, you don't need any of that stuff. Like, there's nothing I can say. There's nothing I can give you. There's nothing that anyone should give you that should add that you're not missing anything. You have everything you need. I have everything I need, and that's a hard thing to remember sometimes. It doesn't have to be, but it kind of is because we act like that a lot. um, we're picking up books, we're going on like paths, we're listening to people's stories, and there's nothing wrong with listening to somebody's story. I think that's the connection aspect that we're needing in 2025 or just in general moving forward. But don't let anybody tell you that they have what you need because that's not a trustworthy person. Also, too, it's like you're definitely not who you only think you are who you think you are because you've built that and your environment has reinforced that belief. And at the end of the day, it's just these are all beliefs and concepts. You focus on one thing long enough. Like, I'm sure there's a Carl Jung quote or something. There's going to be a lot of quotes in this because I like to listen to lectures and I like to read books and stuff. I haven't read as many books. I've started like 4 of them and I have yet to finish one. Oh, we're probably gonna see me finish a book at some point during these episodes. Hopefully, I'm like halfway through one of them. Um, it's called. Where is it around here? No, I don't have it around here somewhere, but it's the proof. Oh, there it is. The proof that you're God by dualistic unity. I don't know how it works to shout things out, but it's definitely becoming one of my favorite books right now. Um, it's definitely stripping away like what I think my like identity to be, and it's so freeing. And when you get to that level of like conception, you're kind of just like, well, what am I left with? And then in the nothingness is everything you need in a way. If that, I don't know. I'm not gonna keep saying if that makes sense, but does it? Oh man. This is what I'm realizing too as I'm doing this, is I talk a little too fast because I believe that I need to fill up the space, but also too, I can't always keep up with what I'm saying. Like, ugh, this will be interesting. I'm not saying this in a bad way. I'm saying this is like, I'm already learning a lot about myself right now. And I hope this is like just the place that, like, like I said, there's nothing I can say that, like, I'm not trying to enlighten anything really. Um, I think we have this weird conception with enlightenment. Like, if you were really enlightened, you'd have to, like, I think you'd have to get rid of your attachments. I'm not saying that that's a good thing or bad thing, but I'm just saying, like, whatever, you're gonna have to give up this for that, probably. And life is a lot more of like a balance of, you know, duality, you know, but it all being encompassing in a way. Like, that's why I have an issue with non-duality, because it's like you can't really say that there's nothing, because there kind of is something. Like, the more I think about this, I've had a lot more moments outside of myself, is that I'm experiencing this, but I'm also experiencing myself. I'm like watching something, you know, and that's where I kind of got into like different forms of like Eastern philosophy, is like digging deeper into myself. All I know at this point at 25 is that I really don't. It's really cliche, but I just don't. And I kind of am at this point in my life where I don't want to know. Like, I don't want to know. Like, we get really caught up in history too, and it's like, at the end of the day, it doesn't really change this moment, really. Your moment right now. It's everything's a story that we tell ourselves. Like, I keep saying like, it's, that's where I really think you're not who you think you are. You you could be so much more, you know, if you stopped thinking about yourself. Your relationships could be more real if you weren't thinking about how, what it's for you, or what it's made, what am I trying to say, that what it means about you. Yeah, what it means about you is what I'm trying to say. um it's a really human thing to want to need control, and even over this I can feel that I'm like wanting control over how I'm being perceived. And I'm starting to realize more and more, especially this job that I'm working right now, that I can't at all control how I'm perceived. Like, it's not possible. Like, people, it's one of the difficult things with people too, even that the like people are pieces of you. Like it's one of my favorite like Ram Dass quotes, is that like everybody's God in drag, and I really do believe that, especially like in the most difficult moments. I'm like, that's God. And like even the most beautiful moments, I'm like, that's God. And like some, like the moments I want to like hate some, I'm like, that is God. Like, that is God in drag. Like, we're all God too, you know, in drag. We're really going there now. Yeah, it's been an interesting road, and I think, I don't know, it might be a mix of going and talking more about things that have happened, or more so just allowing it to be a space to dump my whatever's going on in here, because if I don't, I need to empty this out sometimes. uh this is, I mean, this may, it's not even really informative. Like, I would never let myself be qualified to and it's not like, I like to teach and stuff, but I'm not I'm not telling you that this is how you should live your life. I'm still trying to figure out how to live my life, whatever that means. I'm going to be constantly figuring it out. I don't think I ever want to get to a point where I'm like, oh, I figured out how to live my life. That sounds really stupid. We as society be like, I know what I'm doing now. What do you mean you know what you're doing? You know you? You know what it is you're doing? What is this you're doing? What is doing? Why are we always a doing? Like, I know we're human beings, and I know we gotta sometimes human do, but sometimes we human don't, you know? My goodness. Oh, I'm always gonna garden before these things. That is very much both sides of the coin. You made it this far. I don't know how long this is gonna be, but this might be the first iteration of this. So I'm gonna try to record some more of these. Let me know if there's something. Uh, yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you want to hear. And I'm also just gonna like keep talking about what I think I need to talk about. And this is what I feel like I need to talk about. So yeah, you got everything you need. I got everything I need. This is both sides of the coin. Good night and bye. Later, dude.